Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everybody. I don't have a presentation, so yeah. So maybe I'll start with a quick introduction. So I'm RUSHABH, from Mumbai. So very happy to be here in Tanzania and speak to all of you. I started building this software ERP Next in 2005 actually. So it's 19 years since we started, and I had joined my family business back then, which was in manufacturing of hospital furniture, and they were struggling with an ERP implementation. And I've always been a hobbyist programmer. So, and I thought, maybe since let me switch this off. Okay. So, how hard can, this ERP system look like, right? So so we had a head office, sales office in Mumbai, and then we had a factory 120 kilometers away from Mumbai, and every order used to be a yellow file, and at the end of the day there used to be a courier who used to pick a stack of yellow files from the head office and ship it 120 kilometers out there. So I thought, in 2005 Gmail was already here in 2004, and we said, like, the world is online, why are we doing this manual shifting of files? And the business then was using something that was based on FoxPro, and the developer who had built that FoxPro software went to London. So the company had no options, and just maybe letting me try out how to build the ERP, letting me build that ERP system. And we started with the sales order, basically for the sales team to be able to capture the product requirements, the customer requirements, and then the people in the factory can now just open the sales order online, and instead of waiting for those yellow files to be shipped overnight, and any changes that happen, right? Imagine, this is hospital furniture, B2B, and customer calls and say, no, instead of yellow I want blue color, right? And then how do all those changes get communicated? So having an online system was clearly a very low-hanging, easy problem to be solved, right? And the accounting was done in Tally in 2005, and Tally multi-location used to be a big problem because every time it used to sync the entire database from both the systems, and if the sync breaks, like, you have to start, that process used to take hours, and if it breaks, you have to just restart the entire process, and with not so reliable internet, that was problematic as well. And so when I started building, this is very early, where Gmail came 2004, so web applications were still very, very new. People didn't really know how to build web applications while internet was there, websites were there. I think Facebook came 2007, and smart iPhone 2006-07 again. So the internet we know today didn't exist back then. There was no web framework. So when you build a web application, there is usually a standard set of libraries people now use. If you're familiar with tech, there is libraries like Django and Rails and all these. So there were no web frameworks back then. So I built my own web framework. We call it Frappe framework. And the way I built is, you don't have to make screens again and again. So you have a screen for a customer, you have a screen for a sales order, for a supplier, or a purchase invoice. You don't have to design the screens. You just have to say, what do you want to capture in the information? And I always tell everybody, like, the most important quality you need to have as a software engineer is laziness. And I didn't want to write the same inputs, the same validations for all these screens. So we built this framework. I was the only one who was building. So I built this framework where I could just define what needs to be, what data you want to capture, and then the forms are automatically generated. So that's the framework. And then started building the ERP with the sales order slowly. And later, that family business, I had a lot of cousins and other things. So maybe I was always looking for an opportunity. So branched out into building my own ERP software back then. I also used Python, and Python was open source. And at that point, I had no idea about open source because I grew up in .NET kind of world. And so when I saw Python, and I saw it had all the libraries that .NET had, and it was free. And that really blew my mind, and it was better. And I said, like, why why would somebody pay for something if it's available for free and better, right? And so that was the whole idea, that maybe if you want to make the software last a very long time, you should make it open source. Maybe there was some ideological affinity to keeping things open, but at that point it wasn't very strong. And like I had no idea, obviously, how far that journey was going to take. And so yeah, so we started off. The company started in 2008 as Web Notes Technologies, and then we kept on improving the software. 2010 we launched erpnext.com, and erpnext because that domain was available for $10 in 2010. So the node domain ERP Next was easily available. We called it ERP Next. And then we started with an online SaaS plan for $7 per user per month. First few customers came through Google Ads. We did Google Ads, and there was a whole self sign up process where people could, like, any SaaS software you can see today. So yeah, since then, it's just been a journey of fixing bugs and customer support tickets. Everything blurs after that. And 2016, so 2015-16, I mean, there was organic growth. We thought maybe, there is a community around software. So 2014, we had our first ERP Next conference in Mumbai with, fewer people than this probably. And it was a very interesting event. And from then on, we've always had conferences every year. And we've seen a community grow. So when your software is open source, a lot of people use it for free, and, they can download it, set it up on their server, and use it as well. And that community also grew. And then there are user forums and other places where people can ask questions about, the free users. So one of our free users, right, a company named Zeroda, suddenly became super successful in COVID, right? And they became a, very highly profitable startup, and that became a huge success story for us as well. And then they invested some money just, to help us out. And I mean, we're always bootstrapped, so we never took funding. Growing with very small team, for the most part, there were just 4 developers building ERP Next. And, slowly after 2016-17, as our revenue grew 40% year on year, very organically, from very, very small numbers. And yeah, and, here we are, slowly growing and doing things. So once we got some funding, we hired more people and, made more mistakes. Like, we started doing services. And that was a big blunder, because it's very hard for an organization to excel at doing product and services. That's what we realized. And we didn't have the DNA of a service company. So 2020, we kind of realized, okay, this is not working out. We shut it down, and we're building a partner ecosystem. Ankita is going to tell a lot more about that. Maybe I can share a few things about open source, and then maybe open it up for questions like, why open source, right? The most common question is like, if your software is free, how do you make money? So we make money off hosting. We have a service called Frappe Cloud where you can go and host it for, very low cost. It's actually based on AWS, so it's a very robust infrastructure. And we did support for a long time. We are getting out of support slowly, and we did services for a bit. And Frappe is growing 40% year on year for the last 16 years as a company, and we are happy. We are satisfied with the money we make. We are team of 60 people. We run very we have a radical workplace where everybody can choose whatever they want to work on, and everybody also picks their own pay, and we pay well above market in India, and we are profitable, and that's all. We are happy. So we don't have an ambition to become a $1 billion company. And as Mohandas Gandhi said, there is enough in the world for everybody's need, but not for everybody's greed, right? So it works for us because we are not greedy to become a $1 billion company or a unicorn. We are happy creating value for customers. We are happy growing organically, and yeah, we are profitable, growing. We are a great company to work in. I enjoy working at Frappe, and we do good by our customers. We do good by all our team members, and we do good by the community. So yeah, I mean, there is no downside to it so far. So that's it. Yeah. So I'll take questions if you have on. Mike, you have a question? Sorry. No, no, no. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, the one question that always stays with the mind is that you're investing as a user, obviously, we invest time and efforts into the implementation. That concern always stays with regards to the continuity or the improvement of the platform over time. How do you see that heading? I do understand you guys are committed as a team, and it will carry forward. What succession plans or what sort of plans you have as a company to ensure that the customer base that you do build up over time gets supported for a long period?
Yeah, so we've been around for 16 years. That's a good track record. I mean, if you want to know the future, look at the past, right? And you're growing every year with, you're launching way more products. So Seven was going to talk about those as well. There is a growing community. There is growing number of partners. There are 4,000, like we ourselves work with 4,000 customers, and then there are maybe at least twice or thrice that number who are on self-hosted or other kind of hosting. So it's Mitesh said, we stay under the radar. It doesn't look like we are very big, but there is a large and growing community. And if you just look at, the rate at which our product develops, that keeps getting better and better every year. So there's no magic bullet, but 16 years is a good track record to say that, okay, we are going to be around for at least another 16. In year one, that would have been a good question to ask. Yeah.
My question is on security. Could you elaborate more about the security? How can we give a comfort to customers when they deploy the data in your infrastructures, plus more security on that?
Yeah, so software security is now a very important and grave concern out there, and sorry, and like any serious software vendor, we are also serious about security. We have a special group of people from our team and the community who work continuously on security features. Security bugs get reported either by third-party researchers or by our internal team. So the way security works is if you go to a security testing agency, they're going to use a standard set of scripts to try and hack your software, right? And a lot of our customers keep doing that. We get some reports regularly if there are any issues, but the real problems in our system are known by our engineers, and we are constantly working on those as well. We are ISO 27000 certified, so we have processes to capture reports and try and fix these. So we have all the processes in place. You can go to frappe.io/security. We have all our processes put, and yes, and there is a myth that open source is less secure, but like all the most secure software like Linux, all your databases, the internet runs on open source, and it's actually more secure than proprietary software in a sense.
Sorry, I've been asking a lot of questions because I'm a bit fussed about ERP Next, and we are going to get it after this meeting.
Sure.
As I said, I would like to know about, if I do a lot of customization with you guys, how do you ensure that customization remains my property in terms of source code and my designing? Will it be available for everyone, or will it be proprietary for my business?
So there are two ways to answer. One is the license itself, which is the general public license that comes with ERP Next, says that it gives 4 freedoms to all users, right? The freedom to use, the freedom to modify, the freedom to study, the freedom to modify, and the freedom to redistribute. And so if you're giving this software to somebody else, you should also give them all the 4 freedoms. But if you're using it only for yourself, then you are not obliged to share that information with somebody else. But if you do give the software to somebody else, you are also obliged to give them the source code and all of that. That's one thing. On customizations, there is ERP Next has a plugin architecture, so you can your partners are going to set up a special app. We call it an app, and all your customizations remain in your app for the most part. If you feel that there are some things that need to be improved in the core processes, then you could work with your partners to get them. So anybody in the world can send a contribution request. So when you want to say, okay, I want to get this contributed, there is a whole process. There are certain standards that people have to follow. There are people have to write automated tests along with the code. So if all of that is there, then and the feature makes sense to the code owner, whoever is maintaining that piece, then we accept it. Yeah. So my time is up, and thanks. And we'll have more time for questions. I think maybe towards the end. So thanks everybody.